Right now on Nightcast, Hillary Clinton is just hours away from officially becoming Senator of New York. We're live in D.C. with a preview.
Also, new details about the man accused of attacking Archbishop Egan during Mass.
And in Health Watch, the over-the-counter drugs that can hurt your unborn baby.
Nightcast, right now.
You're watching the CBS 2 Information Network.
Now, live from Fifth Avenue, this is Nightcast.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Angela Ray.
And I'm Ernie Anastos. Well, tomorrow marks the beginning of a new era. First Lady Hillary Rodham Clinton will be sworn in as Senator of New York. She replaces Daniel Patrick Moynihan, who served for almost 25 years. Nightcast reporter Marcia Kramer joins us live from Washington tonight with the latest. Marcia.
Well, Ernie, Hillary Clinton and her husband were out in the town tonight celebrating the fact that for the next 17 days, she'll be the only person in history to be both the First Lady and a United States Senator at the very same time. The first couple's motorcade drove through downtown Washington for a private reception at a Pennsylvania Avenue restaurant called 701. After helping his wife thank supporters, President Clinton, accompanied by Chelsea, ducked out to go back to the White House. Picking up the tab for the bash, two corporate conglomerates, Coca-Cola and the Aflac Insurance Corporation. It was to be the first of three parties over the next 2 days to mark the passing of the political torch from President Clinton to his wife Hillary. The Clintons haven't moved out of the White House, but they're already making waves in their new neighborhood, where they bought a multi-million-dollar, 6-bedroom, 7-bath red brick house on a street of dignified estates across from the Danish embassy. New no trespassing signs have been posted. Dark black Secret Service vans guard the cul-de-sac, and neighbors have already put up no parking signs, just like the people in Chappaqua did when the Clintons moved in there. So why does Mrs. Clinton, an empty nester, need such a large house? Well, political insiders say it's so that she can mold herself as the premier hostess and fundraiser for the out-of-power Democratic Party. I asked New York Senior Senator Chuck Schumer about this hostess with the mostest stuff, but he said that Hillary would be better advised to tend to business.
I think the #1 job of a senator from New York is to help New York.
Hillary, who will officially replace U.S. Senator Daniel P. Moynihan tomorrow, was given temporary office quarters in the basement of the Dirksen office building. Her home for the next 3 months features newly delivered boxes of Washington tourist information to give to constituents and lots of unoccupied computers. Mrs. Clinton's newly picked chief of staff, Tamara Lozado, sat at her boss's new desk next to a bouquet of wilting flowers.
Now, Hillary's got very big shoes to fill. Senator Moynihan has been an outstanding senator for the people of New York for so long. Now, the festivities get underway tomorrow, but already there are signs of favoritism. The Sergeant-at-Arms of the Senate announced tonight that he was considering allowing Mrs. Clinton to go first in an annual reenactment of the swearing-in where the relatives are allowed to participate. Generally, that's done by seniority, and given the fact that Mrs. Clinton is 97 out of 100, that would mean she'd go near the end. Live in Washington, I'm Marcia Kramer, CBS 2 Nightcast.
Okay, we'll be watching. Thank you, Marcia. So what should we expect from freshman Senator Clinton in her first year in office? Tonight, we're posing that question to New Yorkers. Check out their answers in our Nightcast Soapbox, coming up a little bit later in the broadcast.
And tomorrow, John Corzine, New Jersey's $61 million man, will be sworn in, replacing the retiring Senator Frank Lautenberg. Corzine, who broke records for campaign spending, began settling into his new Washington office today. The former Goldman Sachs chairman says his top priority is to keep a campaign promise.
Health care and access at health care is something that I intend to focus on and make a priority. And so we're going to try to fulfill that promise.
After he gets some of his things put away, the soon-to-be freshman senator says he'll also push for a stronger Social Security program, better public education, and sensible gun laws. President-elect George W. Bush has finished picking his cabinet. Today he chose Democrat Norman Mineta for Secretary of Transportation. Mineta has served as Commerce Secretary under President Clinton for the past 6 months. Mr. Bush named Linda Chavez for Labor Secretary. She was director of the Civil Rights Commission under President Reagan. And Spencer Abraham is the man for Energy Secretary. He's the Michigan senator who lost his re-election bid back in November.
A Long Island man is accused of killing his ex-wife tonight and then holding police at bay. Nightcast reporter Marcella Palmer has the latest on the story live tonight from Bethpage. Marcella.
Well, Ernie, Claire Jackman didn't get to enjoy the new year for very long. Police say she was shot by her ex after the two had an argument. Then he locked her wounded inside of her own home. An emergency team rushed 65-year-old Claire Jackman from her Bethpage home late this afternoon into an ambulance. She was hanging on to life after detectives tell us her ex-husband, 68-year-old Wynn, shot her in the abdomen with a hunting rifle. Then they say he locked them both inside. She would have surely died in that house without medical treatment, but someone saw what was happening.
A person who was in the house, a locksmith, saw the man enter with a rifle. He ran out of the house and he notified the police.
Special operations officers got on the scene and made their way into the barricaded house to find a critically wounded Claire inside. Police say she had been lying there for close to 2 hours.
In a situation like this, the Bureau of Special Operations is requested. They came down, they set up a perimeter, and then finally they entered the house, and to take her out to get first aid for her. He realized apparently at some time that she was still alive, and then they took him into custody while they were in the house.
With Winthrop in custody, his ex-wife Claire was rushed to Nassau County Medical Center for emergency surgery on the bullet wound to her abdomen. Neighbors told CBS 2 off camera the Jackmans were nice people, but they had their problems.
We don't have any disturbance problems that I can find right at this time, but there was a report of a burglary back in November, and at that time she had told the investigating officers that her husband was a suspect in that.
There will be no more trouble between the Jackmans. Claire lost her fight to live around 9 p.m. here at Nassau County Medical Center, and police tell me that her ex-husband, Winthrop Jackman, will be charged sometime tomorrow. Reporting live from Nassau County, Marcella Palmer, CBS 2 Nightcast.
Thank you, Marcella. A Brooklyn couple and their 2 friends died today in a fiery car crash with a snow removal truck. Police say the car was speeding more than 50 miles an hour in a 30-mile-an-hour zone on Bay Ridge Parkway. The car slammed into the front-end loader and burst into flames on impact. The driver of the loader was not hurt. Police found the body of a newborn baby in Lower Manhattan tonight. 4 days ago, an anonymous caller told police an 18-year-old woman had given birth and possibly dumped the baby in the sanitation lot at South and Pike Streets. Well, that's exactly where they found the body. The medical examiner will do an autopsy to determine the cause of death. Police are questioning someone, but they won't say if it's the mother.
And tonight we are learning more about the man accused of attacking Archbishop Egan during Mass.
Yesterday's attack had apparently been planned for weeks. CBS 2 reporter Vince Dementri has the latest.
Here's 38-year-old Timothy Byrne looking dazed and confused. He was taken away from the Midtown North Precinct last night. But 20 hours later in Manhattan Criminal Court, Byrne appeared to be on the ball. He told the judge he knew who she was, where he was, and who his attorney is. Still, not convinced he's in his right mind, she denied his bail request.
We're very disappointed that Mr. Byrne is in custody this evening. It's most certainly the worst place for him to be is in jail.
Actually, the judge ordered Byrne to undergo a psych exam. In much of his 2-page written confession to police, Timothy Byrne rambles on much of the time, but in a few lucid moments, he basically says that he did this because the Catholic Church is perpetrating a fraud on the public. So, he took it upon himself to effect a citizen's arrest of Archbishop Egan, and then he says he hoped that he got publicity for this. He did, and then some. It's certainly not what his sister and brother-in-law wanted. They made a beeline to a getaway car after sitting in on the arraignment. And that's where they heard the prosecutor talk about Byrne's long mental history and how the former architect admitted that he staked out St. Pat's, detailing the comings and goings of the priest for weeks in preparation for his failed attempt to handcuff and arrest Archbishop Edward Egan. Byrne also admitted to using a towel rack inside his Hoboken apartment to practice speed cuffing someone. This neighbor isn't surprised. A couple of months ago, he saw this.
Before I know, they were leading him out, but leading him out in cuffs.
Turns out the Secret Service came calling after Byrne threatened to kill President Clinton. He was later released. For the next 7 days, he'll be under lock and key, a threat to no one. We'll find out what the docs have to say when Byrne's back in court January 9th. In Lower Manhattan, Vince Dementri, CBS 2 Nightcast.
Tonight, the Suffolk County Police Department is being sued by a woman who claims an officer ordered her to strip off her clothes and walk home nearly naked. A tearful Angelina Torres claims she was stopped near the Chardonnay bar in Shirley New Year's morning. She says the officer gave her a DWI test and handcuffed her when she failed. Torres says he then took it a step further.
He drove me to like 5 blocks away from my house, got me out the car, unhandcuffed me, and told me to take my clothes off and walk home.
Torres is seeking $15 million in punitive damages. Suffolk County Police are investigating. They're not releasing the name of the officer involved.
There's a lot more ahead tonight on Nightcast. The drug dangers for pregnant women. We'll tell you the drugs you should avoid if you're expecting.
Also, he who hits the hardest has the floor. We'll tell you about this big battle between lawmakers.
And later tonight, what New Yorkers expect from Hillary Clinton in her first year of office.
Plus, David Rogers' weather.
Hey, get ready for plenty of sunshine tomorrow, but will temperatures finally get out of the freezer? I'll let you know. Plus, have your bus stop forecast. This is your CBS 2 Information Network.
You're watching the CBS 2 Information Network.
Music's top awards, tomorrow on CBS 2 at 5. Find out who's nominated for the Grammys. We'll bring you the scoop in a CBS 2 VH1 report. Plus, David Rogers and your no-nonsense weather, tomorrow at 5.
Our look at the world tonight. The trial of 4 accused terrorists begins tomorrow in Manhattan. The men are charged with the 1998 bombings of the U.S. embassies in Kenya and Tanzania. 224 people were killed, including 12 Americans. The 4 are believed to have ties to suspected terrorist Osama bin Laden.
It is round 2 for President Clinton and Yasser Arafat. The Palestinian leader arrived at the White House tonight for a second session of negotiations over Mideast peace talks. Arafat wants more clarification from the president on his proposed framework for new talks. The 2 men met for 2 hours earlier today, but there's no word on whether they are making any progress.
Well, they could use some peace talks in Mexico. The first session of the legislature in the state of Tabasco erupted in fisticuffs today, as you can see. Lawmakers came to blows over the appointment of an interim governor. The outgoing legislature picked him as a last grab for power before the newly elected opposition members could take office.
Sad news, one of America's favorite actors, Ray Wolfson, is dead tonight. Wolfson played the lovable alien in the CBS sitcom My Favorite Martian in the 1960s. He later went on to win 2 Emmy Awards in 1995 and 96 for his role in another CBS show, Picket Fences. Wolfson died in his sleep yesterday at his home in Beverly Hills. He was 86.
Recent studies have linked caffeine intake with miscarriages, and now the safety of many other chemicals and drugs is also being questioned. In tonight's Health Watch, CBS 2 anchor Todd McDermott reveals the controversy surrounding pregnancy and drug use.
They're the haunting images of children who were exposed to thalidomide decades ago. During the 1960s, the notorious drug was given to expectant mothers to relieve morning sickness. Today, the medical field still battles uncertainty and confronts controversy when prescribing drugs to pregnant women.
We actually know very, very little about what drugs have what effects on a fetus.
Scarce research has been a major roadblock for both patients and doctors.
Companies are concerned, so they don't want to do these tests. They're afraid of liability. They're afraid they're going to be sued.
And it's this uncertainty which leaves expecting moms like Ruth Topol apprehensive to take any kind of medication.
Putting a drug inside my body, even though it's quote-unquote just Tylenol and isn't really going to hurt anything, taking it for the first time, I was nervous about it.
But for many pregnant women who are fighting a serious illness, treatment often requires drug therapy.
We can't ever say 100% that any medication can't possibly have any bad effect on the pregnancy.
In some cases, it's a delicate balancing act. Not taking medication could actually do more harm than good, putting both mom and unborn child at risk for health complications. The FDA is now launching efforts to promote research on medicine use during pregnancy. Currently, there are some drugs which are known to cause birth defects or health complications.
We know that lithium taken in the first trimester when the baby's heart is developing can cause a severe type of heart defect.
Other drugs that can do devastating damage to a fetus include ACE inhibitors, prescribed to control blood pressure, Coumadin, a blood thinner that can induce fetal hemorrhage, Accutane, a common acne medication that causes severe birth defects, methotrexate, an anti-cancer drug that induces fetal hemorrhage, Dilantin and other anti-seizure medications can cause birth defects. And there are those drugs like ibuprofen that are safe during the first and second trimesters, but can cause problems later on in a pregnancy.
It can cause the amniotic fluid level to drop around the baby, and it can also cause some changes in the baby's heart.
So what is safe to take when you're pregnant? Antibiotics like penicillin and some over-the-counter medications, including Tylenol, Sudafed, or Benadryl.
But with an abundance of over-the-counter medications on the market, it is essential to contact your physician before taking